Right, and back to this, unions representing embattled workers at Clover's soon-to-be-closed Lichtenburg plant have met with management to discuss their concerns. Earlier this month, the Food and Beverages Group cited poor service delivery from the local government when it announced plans to relocate its cheese factory to Queensburg in KZN. But unions say while the company has offered to relocate workers, the move will be devastating to families and the broader community. Head of the General Industries Workers Union, Mametlwe Sebei, joins us to discuss more on this. Thanks very much, Mametlwe, to talking to us. So you believe Clover's decision to relocate was a business decision and not because of service delivery problems. Did you put that to management today?
Yes. We have been in discussions with the Clover management for some time. When we opposed the takeover of Clover by Milco, the Israeli company, working at, Palestinian lands that are occupied by Jewish settlers, we learned that they have a project to restructure and consolidate their operations into 4 mega factories, closing the rest. And that means that most of their factories would be only factories at Clayville, Bloemfontein, Queensburg, and Port Elizabeth, and the operations at Lichtenburg, Paro, and others will be closed.
Yeah, but I mean, they've cited chronic water and power outages. You believe that this decision to move was a business one, as you say, before these, but Clover itself has been complaining to the local municipality since 2019. Surely the municipality should shoulder some blame on what is happening in that particular region at the moment. Have you spoken to them as well?
But that's the thing, Devan. We're meeting with them. In fact, the management of Clover Lichtenburg, they said, of course, they cannot confirm, but also they've heard about that from media. Now, if management at Lichtenburg have heard about that from media, you can imagine what that means. We have also not heard about that before. We have been engaged about this project to relocate Lichtenburg to Queensburg. We have been opposing it, and we are still opposing it. If anything, we, of course, strategizing with our workers, with our federation, SAFTU, and the broad working class summit process to mobilize communities to oppose this catastrophic closure of the factory, which we argue would have a devastating impact, not just on our members, but of course communities around that area.
Okay, so I understand that about or more than 200 full-time workers are affected, a few more temporary workers as well. Clover has offered you a voluntary resignation packages or a move to Durban. I would imagine this is not a viable option for the workers.
Yeah, well, it's really as good as offering a man on a death row a choice between dying by a firing squad or by hanging. So the reality is, if you understand how much workers are earning in wages, which are between 6,500 and 7,000, relocating from Lichtenburg to a mega city like Durban, where the cost of living is very high, but also adding on top of that the cost of accommodation for workers who are staying at their homes in the villages where land is readily available, free for them by virtue of being members of those communities. That actually means effectively cutting the wages of those workers by half, over and above piling on them the cost of travel, regular travel to and from home, as well as supporting 2 family and households units, the ones that would remain here at Lichtenburg and surrounding communities, and of course new households that will have to operate from Durban.
So how are you going to fight this? Because the decision's made. What's your next move from now to answer the concerns of those workers?
Well, we are obviously going to be approaching the provincial government that has shown interest, but we put no face whatsoever in government. All that you are saying of government is that they should, of course, consider how to bail out those workers who stand to lose their jobs. But as for ourselves, we are discussing with workers, including, by the way, the question of factory occupation, to ensure that we occupy that factory, build a campaign around it with support of communities from around Lichtenburg to ensure that that company or that factory remains operating with the jobs of our members secure, with or without Clover. And that we are saying that government must intervene to ensure that workers are able to operate that factory beyond Clover if need be.
All right, so time is against us, but thanks very much indeed. Head of the General Industries Workers Union, Mametlwe Sebei.